Okay, so I wrote earlier this week on LinkedIn about sponsors. And sponsors, for most of you, you probably know they're different from mentors. And both mentors and sponsors are very important, um, to have in your career as you are developing professionally. The difference between the two, I think a lot of people are familiar with mentors. It's somebody who has perhaps done, the kind of work that you've done. They have a bit of experience to help you guide the way through challenges or things that you're encountering. But sponsors are a little bit different. I mean, they can ultimately come from being a mentor, but sponsors are the people who actually say your name in those meetings that you're not invited to, or those conversations between, the power brokers in the room. Sponsors, though, they actually say your name and recommend you for, these kind of opportunities. So it's really important to have someone or a couple of people that you consider to be sponsors, but it's not an easy task. Mentorship, sponsorship, and networking, they all kind of have things in common. And I feel that one of the biggest things that's missing in all of these, and really can make or break a successful relationship, is trust between all parties, right? In networking, what you see quite often is that people, they know they should be doing it, but then they're not doing it all the time, or at least as a continual activity when they should be. So they often network when they need something like a job, or they see a position open and they're like, hey, can you help me? I applied to this job, and they think that that's networking. And while it is, certainly a really important step of initiating the contact, it in general lacks trust and some sort of foundation from, a relationship standpoint. And for it to be really fruitful and successful, you need to have some, better than a random connection. You need to have, a solid foundation for people to want to do that favor for you. Same kind of thing happens with sponsorship. Okay. I mean, and sponsorship is a little bit more sophisticated, because not only are you asking a person for help, but you're asking them to say your name and volunteer you for these really big career changing opportunities. It's also at their expense. They want to make sure anyone that they're referring, nominating, recommending for a job actually has, the goods to back it up and do a great job. They're expending a bit of their social capital, their political capital. So they want to, make sure that it doesn't backfire, that you will actually do the job well, or they have great confidence in you. So it is definitely a two-way street. You really need to figure out, okay, do we have that trust? Do we have a relationship? Is this person even aware of the work that I do, the reputation that I'm putting out there as, an A plus team player, performer, etc. You got to work on that first before you can actually approach someone. So when you have thought about the person and you're doing all the right things, you definitely want to approach the person and share what you are hoping for yourself, share your dreams. But, you got to work your way into the conversation. Again, it's built on a rapport that's established, instead of just being like you're leading with, help me, help me. Okay. So these are things that I think I talk about in the article, but it wasn't as clear. Um, Someone was just thinking that it'd be easier to identify people and then ask for help. But I'm like, well, I mean, you can absolutely. And there are some really amazing people in this world that will just do it without having anything to benefit them, right? In exchange. But the fact is that, for a sponsorship relationship, it is so important to have that two-way street, because both people are risking something. And actually, the person who's on the sponsorship level, they want to be aligned with someone who is really going places too. So you need to make sure that you have that good solid foundation to make that ask, and then also the reputation and that track record to back it up.